Hey guys, before we get into this, I do want to apologize for the audio in some of the talking clips. I was dealing with some big phone issues around this time. I have a new phone now, which is fantastic, but it was not fantastic back then, and it affected a lot of the audio clips taken with that phone. So just a heads up. All right, let's get into it. Walk with me back into June of this year. The beginning of consistent markets, lots of hard work with adding and restocking art products, designing and redesigning my booth, loading and unloading the car, and doing that a million more times, and learning a lot of lessons. So today is a market day. I'm nervous a little bit, as I usually am on those days, especially for this one because this one is happening at the mall. So it's gonna be a little bit bigger than usual. I'm really hoping it goes well. I paid like $150 to be a part of this, so I really hope I make much more than that. So this quote-unquote market was held at Hamilton Mall in Chattanooga. It's some small business weekend annual event that Hamilton Mall partners with another organization to host. And sellers get to set up in the mall on Saturday and Sunday. I don't sell on Saturdays, which is a conversation for another time, but I got permission to only come in on Sunday. My hopes started plummeting as I talked to a few other sellers who said they didn't do well the previous day. And by the end of this day, I hadn't even sold enough to break even with the booth fee, and I ended up losing about $110 in total. It's another market day. The mall one did not go so well. I will not be doing another mall market ever. Maybe, I don't know, maybe someday in the future I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna try this again, but I shouldn't try it again. But I'm going to a market nearby. I know it's a smaller one, so I'm not sure if this one will be worth it either. But my game plan right now is just to try out as many as possible, see which ones I should go back to, which ones are worth my time. So that's why I'm going to so many right now. Also, I just really need money, so I'm going to as many as possible. So what we're doing today is going to a little cosplay party at the Hunter Museum because they have a fantasy exhibit and we get $5 off for being in costume. Woo! Yeah.
Oh shoot.
This is one of the best and most fun art exhibits I have ever been to, especially in an art museum. I just love the subject matter, of course, and also a lot of it is from like pop culture things like Game of Thrones and Lord of the Rings, and of course fairy tales. There's a lot of book cover art done by artists who specialize in things like that. The quality and the colors of the paintings were incredible, like super realistic stuff, not as realistic stuff, but like still just as cool. I loved every minute of it. I really wanted to make some fantasy art right after this exhibit. I never really did that, and I still haven't really, but it does live in the back of my head, and this is one of the huge inspirations for that idea, which maybe I will act on one of these days. This was my first day at the Chattanooga Market, which has become the most consistent market I go to. I'll be honest, it was really disappointing the first 2 times, but it has gotten better. A couple days after the Chattanooga Market, I went to a much smaller market in my area. It's one that I've already been to before in this vlog, and it was not so great. I was just at a very hot market that was a complete waste of my time. So I've been hitting the markets seriously this summer, trying to get my items in front of real people, like IRL people and not people online, because my theory was that people are more willing to buy things in person than they are when scrolling through like Instagram or something. And that's still my theory, but it hasn't exactly been going to plan. These last couple of weeks have been extremely busy as I've been trying out all these markets, but pretty much all of them have been disappointing. It's been exhausting, and vlogging has taken a huge backseat, partially because I've been so busy with markets, but also partially because I have so much footage right now that I have to edit into my next vlog, which as usual I'm behind on. But yeah, today I went to the market and it was probably, well, it hasn't been the worst one so far because I did lose money at the one at the mall. So that was the worst one. I literally was like, I lost like $110 doing that one. This one that I was just at today, I went to last week, and it was very slow last week, but I went again this week because last week it had rained and I thought that might have like kept people away. But this week, pretty much no customers showed up. There were like maybe 4 or 5 stragglers that came expecting other booths that usually sell there, but they didn't really buy anything at all, so I didn't sell anything. I was there for a little while. It was very hot. It was like a high of 95 today, but the fans were fortunately going on inside the building, so that provided a little bit of relief from the heat, but it was still really bad. I'm still keeping a positive mindset though. I think I just need to take a little minute to refocus myself, figure out what markets that I've gone to are worth going back, try to look a little bit more for markets that would be more successful. The other thing that I've realized, because somebody at the Chattanooga Market pointed it out to me, is that gas prices and just the economy overall is really bad right now, so people really aren't in the mood to buy things as much. So that's affecting things, and while that's not necessarily a good thing, it at least takes some of the blame off of myself, which I shouldn't be putting the blame on myself in general. I tend to do that. If something isn't going according to my expectations, I generally look at myself and I'm like, okay, what am I doing wrong? What do I need to fix? Like, why is this happening? What have I done to make this happen? Oftentimes it's not my fault. This time I don't think it was my fault. I think it's just timing, and I think selling at markets is just a very tough thing, which I knew wouldn't be easy when I got into it, but you never know what to expect exactly before you do it. So I just wanted to give a little update. Right now I'm cooling off, physically cooling off because of the immense heat outside. The AC feels really good right now, and I'm making some food for myself. I haven't gotten to cook in a little while because I've been going and rushing between markets, and I'm also dog sitting right now, so I haven't been in my house much and I haven't had the opportunity to cook much. So this is a treat to be able to do this, and I'm making healthy food because I've been eating very rushed meals that aren't that healthy, more snacky meals than healthy meals recently, so I need this. I need this for myself. Hot summer. I'm dog sitting. I have both house and home now. Nothing too stable, flitting in and out between stages and short scenes. Dog walking early mornings to beat the sun. Eating breakfast here, eating lunch there. Sometimes. Rushed meals. I feel nomadic. From house to home to market, another stage. Sitting, sweating, sweltering, waiting for the customers, waiting for the sales, set up, take down, pull around the hot, stuffy car, load it up. Drive to house or to home, or both. The constant in this ever-changing, ever-shifting landscape is the car ride. The scene we revisit over and over again. Windows down, speeding air ushering the heat away, but not really. And music, always music. From the stranger's house to the home, from the home to the market. Always this small chamber of solace, of recentering, of music and air in between. Hot summer nights don't get reprieve from the scorching sun. It leaves its essence in the muggy atmosphere. Hot summer nights are spent inside at Dee's house. TV time, pizza time, watermelon and popcorn too. The new season of Stranger Things is out. We watch it as family. Togetherness. Sometimes bookending it with a comedy to lighten the mood. Back to the car. Darkness and wind surrounding me and the music and the two little headlights. I smell a peculiar grassy smell out in the dark mess I know to be white picket fences and green fields and picture-perfect houses. Always the same smell. Always the same spot. The dogs are happy to see me when I finally reach the stranger's house again. Their happy sneezes and tapping feet make my fears of dark houses irrelevant, and the closed doors to rooms I haven't gone in don't matter. I fall asleep in a bed that isn't mine, on a hot summer night in June. Despite my crazy schedule, I did get to work on some art of my own in June. My recent focus in art has been on nostalgia. Initially, I focused on the nostalgia that builds up from living day to day and having little moments with the people in my life. But for this piece and a couple other sketches I've done prior to this, that focus has shifted to a more digital version of nostalgia. I want to not only look at my own nostalgia for old websites and digital worlds, but also observe how these things are the objects of collective nostalgia. What kind of reaction rises up in someone who frequented the same sites I used to when they see an abstract version of one of them in a painting? It's an idea I haven't fully fleshed out yet, but I've learned that sometimes it's just better to start something instead of waiting until you have a full plan.
Have you ever heard of
It has to have a golden tea machine.
Yeah.
Budget-wise, about 35. Our guests live at the wedding hotel.
Right.
Take them to the hair, makeup, food. Have to get you to try some sweet banana pudding.
It's a really good time. It's tough.
We love this neighborhood. Is she tall like you for her age?
Yes.
With advice about how to behave during interrogation to avoid being diagnosed as mentally ill. This activity kept Vladimir's spirits up, along with the occasional visits he was allowed from friends. Rebel forces from around the Mulan lived in one such territory, leading the future of her family.
As a boy in the village finally turned your head?
Terrible thoughts, Lu said. Mulan went to her parents, sit idly by. I have watched. I'm smart. I will be able to survive.
So I'm visiting my family for the weekend, and I just got done with a dentist appointment, and it's very hot outside, and I wasn't quite ready to drive 40 more minutes in the car to get back home. So my dentist recommended this cute little coffee house near the dentist office, and oh my gosh guys, it is a coffee house and an antique store. So cute. Home for the weekend, as I mentioned before, and I just spent the night alone in my house, which is a little bit scary because I'm a little bit scared of the dark and noises that I hear, but I am fine, I am alive, nothing was in my house that I know of. Anyways, I'm seeking some beauty today, I'm seeking some comfort, some good time, so right now I am going to a park that's nearby to take a walk. I could walk here. It is a little bit difficult because there's a big road in front of my house. I have to walk down the road a little ways to get to a neighborhood that I could walk in. But the park is prettier, the park is nicer, the park has good walking trails, so I'm going to go there and take my walk instead. And I'm also bringing my journal and a worship book with me so that I can have worship there as well and have a good time. Okay, so my boyfriend and I decided that for one date night, we wanted to paint each other in the Renaissance fashion. And this was inspired by our trip to Florida this year, which can actually be seen in the latest visual diary before this one, the one from May. We went to the Ringling Art Museum in Florida, and we just saw a bunch of portraits, you know, the ones you see at every art museum basically, but that just really inspired us this time for some reason. And we were going to start out with me painting him. Now, he didn't ever get to paint me, because at least this night, because mine took forever. And actually, as I speak, in October, it is not done yet. I took a photo of him eventually and decided to paint it later. And he has a photo of me to paint as well. But it was a fun idea, even though art takes a long time and it can't necessarily be done in one date night, at least to my specifications. But it was a lot of fun.